praise. The Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit thou womb chooses. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death.
Testing 1 2 3 testing. Hello. 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 Testing 1 2 3 testing. Hello. Hello. Hello.
There is a secret language that exists beyond words, beyond time, beyond the visible boundaries of human perception. It is the language of prayer, a mystical current that flows through the veins of the universe, connecting the most fragile human heart to the infinite wisdom of the divine. Imagine for a moment that every breath you take is a conversation, every tear a profound utterance, every silent longing a prayer waiting to be heard. In the grand tapestry of existence, we are but a single thread, seemingly insignificant, yet integral to the entire design. Prayer is the golden needle that weaves our individual stories into the cosmic narrative of hope, transformation, and divine purpose. It is not a mere ritual or a desperate cry into emptiness, but a sacred alchemy that transforms the lead of human suffering into the gold of spiritual awakening. Close your eyes and listen to the whispers of your soul. There is a wound within. You, perhaps hidden, perhaps screaming, that no human touch can heal. This wound is not a weakness, but a sacred portal. It is the very place where your most profound prayers are born. Like the alchemists of old who sought to transform base metals, you are being called to transform your pain, your doubt, your deepest fears through the miraculous power of prayer. The world around us is a mirror, reflecting back the vibrations of our innermost being. Your prayers are not passive words floating into nothingness, but active energies that reshape reality. Each sincere prayer is a quantum leap of faith, a moment where the impossible becomes possible, where the unseen becomes seen. You are not a victim of circumstances, but a co-creator of miracles, armed with the most powerful weapon in the universe, your connection to the divine. We have been taught to see prayer as a last resort, a desperate measure when all else fails. But what if prayer is actually your first and most powerful approach? What if it is the very breath of creation, the language through which galaxies are born and souls are transformed? In this journey, we will unravel the mystical threads of prayer, not as a religious obligation, but as a profound spiritual technology that can rewrite the script of your entire existence. Every great transformation begins with a single moment of radical surrender. Your prayer is that moment. It is not about perfection, not about finding the right words or the most eloquent expression. It is about brutal honesty, about standing naked before the infinite, allowing your most vulnerable self to be seen, heard, and ultimately redeemed. The divine does not require your eloquence, only your authenticity. I speak to you not as a distant messenger, but as a companion on this spiritual odyssey. The journey of prayer is not a path of escape, but a path of profound engagement. It is about learning to dance with your fears, to embrace your wounds, to transform your suffering into a luminous testament of hope. Each prayer is a revolution, a quiet, powerful uprising of the spirit against the limitations of the material world. Today I invite you to a radical experiment of the soul. Suspend your disbelief. Open your heart wider than you ever thought possible. Your prayer is waiting, not as a whisper, but as a thunderous declaration of your soul's deepest truth. Share your most vulnerable prayer in the comments below. Let your words be a sacred offering, a testament to your willingness to transform. If these words resonate with the hidden longing in your heart, press the like button. Join our spiritual community by subscribing and continue this journey of spiritual alchemy. Your comment is a prayer. Your engagement is a declaration. Your commitment is the first step toward a miraculous transformation. You are not alone. Your prayers are heard. Your spirit is powerful beyond measure. And this moment, right here, right now, is the beginning of your extraordinary spiritual journey. In the quiet moments between breaths, we confront the raw truth of human existence. We are fragile, we are wounded, we are searching. Life presents a landscape of challenges that can feel insurmountable. Financial struggles that squeeze hope from your spirit, relationships crumbling like ancient walls, health battles that challenge your very will to survive, and spiritual emptiness that echoes with a profound sense of disconnection. Many walk through life feeling abandoned, their prayers seemingly bouncing off celestial ceilings, returning unanswered. The pain of silence can be deafening. You might have whispered countless prayers, yet felt nothing, no response, no comfort, no divine intervention. This spiritual frustration creates a chasm of doubt, eroding your faith and leaving you questioning the very essence of prayer. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast desert of despair, your spirit parched, your hope as dry as the cracked earth beneath your feet. You have prayed, you have begged, you have pleaded with the heavens, yet the storms of life continue to rage, and your prayers seem to dissolve into the wind like morning mist, leaving no trace, no comfort, no resolution. The human heart is a complex landscape of wounded memories and unspoken fears. We carry invisible burdens, generational pain, unhealed traumas, broken dreams that whisper their failure in the dark corners of our souls. These wounds create a barrier, a thick wall that seems to block the divine connection we so desperately seek. You might wonder, why do some prayers seem to reach the heavens while mine remain trapped within my own broken spirit? Consider the weight of unanswered prayers, the job that never materialized, the healing that never came, the relationship that disintegrated despite your most fervent supplications. Each unanswered prayer becomes a stone of doubt, building a fortress of spiritual cynicism around your heart. You begin to question the very nature of divine communication. Is prayer truly a dialogue, or merely a one-sided conversation with silence? There is a profound loneliness in spiritual struggle. While others seem to experience miraculous interventions, you find yourself in a desert of silence. Your prayers feel like whispers into an infinite void, each word dissolving before that can touch the heart of the divine. The world continues to move, people continue to thrive, and yet you remain trapped in a landscape of spiritual drought. The most insidious challenge is not the absence of answered prayers, but the growing doubt that begins to poison your spiritual essence. You start to believe that perhaps you are unworthy. Perhaps your faith is not strong enough. Perhaps the divine has forgotten you, leaving you to navigate the treacherous waters of life without a spiritual compass. But what if this very struggle is not a punishment, but a profound invitation? What if the silence is not absence, but a deeper form of divine communication? The wilderness of unanswered prayers is not a place of abandonment, but a sacred ground of transformation. Here in the depths of your spiritual struggle lies the most powerful prayer of all, the prayer of surrender. Remember the words from Psalm 34:18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Your brokenness is not a barrier to divine connection, but the very doorway through which the most profound spiritual experiences emerge. Your unspoken pain, your silent tears, your most desperate moments are heard in a language beyond human comprehension. This is your moment of awakening. Your unanswered prayers are not a testament to your spiritual weakness, but an invitation to a deeper, more authentic form of connection. The divine does not measure your worth by the volume of your prayers, but by the authenticity of your heart's longing. The alchemy of prayer is not found in perfection, but in the raw, unfiltered landscape of human vulnerability. True prayer is a transformative dialogue that transcends the boundaries of language, reaching into the deepest chambers of spiritual existence. It is a sacred conversation that begins not with words, but with the very essence of your being. Imagine prayer as a living, breathing entity, not a static ritual, but a dynamic force that flows through the veins of your spiritual experience. Each prayer is a quantum leap of faith, a moment where the invisible becomes visible, where the impossible begins to take shape in the realm of potential. It is less about demanding outcomes and more about aligning your inner landscape with a divine frequency of possibility. The first principle of transformative prayer is radical surrender. Surrender is not weakness. It is the most profound act of spiritual courage. It means releasing the illusion of control, letting go of the carefully constructed narratives we build around our pain, our desires, our limitations. When you truly surrender, you create a sacred space where divine wisdom can breathe, where miracles can take root. Consider the metaphor of a closed fist versus an open hand. A closed fist represents our human tendency to grip tightly to our fears, our expectations, our predetermined outcomes. An open hand symbolizes vulnerability, receptivity, the willingness to receive beyond what our limited minds can comprehend. Prayer, in its most powerful form, is the gradual opening of that fist, finger by finger, fear by fear, until we are completely open to divine guidance. Authentic prayer emerges from a place of complete honesty. It is not about presenting a polished, perfect version of yourself to the divine, but about revealing your most raw, unvarnished truth. Your wounds, your doubts, your deepest fears. These are not obstacles to prayer, but the very language through which the most profound spiritual conversations occur. The divine does not require your perfection. It seeks your authenticity. There is a profound mystery in the way prayer works. It is not a transactional experience where you input a request and await a specific output. Instead, prayer is a transformative process that changes you more than it changes your external circumstances. Each genuine prayer is like a seed planted in the fertile ground of your soul. Its growth may be invisible, its fruits may take time to manifest, but the transformation is already in motion. The spiritual masters have long understood that prayer is less about speaking and more about listening. In the cacophony of modern life, we have forgotten the art of spiritual stillness. True prayer requires us to create internal silence, to develop the capacity to hear the whispers of divine guidance that are constantly surrounding us. It is in this silence that the most profound conversations occur, conversations that transcend human language. Understand that your prayers are not measured by their eloquence, but by the depth of your spiritual intention. A single tear can be more powerful than 1,000 carefully constructed sentences. A moment of genuine surrender can shift universes. Your prayer is a quantum event, capable of rippling through the fabric of spiritual reality in ways your mind cannot comprehend. The journey of prayer is ultimately a journey of self-discovery. As you learn to pray authentically, you begin to peel away the layers of conditioning, fear, and limitation. You discover that prayer is not something you do, but something you become. It is a state of being, a constant conversation with the divine that flows through every breath, every moment, every experience. Remember that the most powerful prayers often emerge from our most vulnerable moments. When words fail, when hope seems distant, when the landscape of your life feels barren, this is precisely the moment when your spirit is most receptive to divine intervention. Your brokenness is not a barrier to prayer. It is the very doorway through which transformation enters. The journey of transforming prayer from a distant concept to a living, breathing practice begins in the most ordinary moments of your daily existence. Imagine prayer not as a separate spiritual activity, but as a continuous conversation that weaves through the fabric of your everyday life, washing dishes, driving to work, facing challenges, experiencing moments of joy. Begin by creating sacred spaces of stillness within your daily rhythm. This does not require hours of meditation or elaborate rituals. Instead, cultivate moments of spiritual awareness that can exist in the span of a single breath. When anxiety rises, when frustration threatens to consume you, learn to pause. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to reconnect with the divine presence that resides within you and around you. Practical prayer is about developing a language of the heart that transcends words. Start by becoming an intentional listener to your inner landscape. In the morning, before the world demands your attention, sit in quiet reflection, not to ask for anything, not to solve problems, but simply to be present. Imagine yourself as a vessel, open and receptive to divine guidance. Your intention is not to control, but to align. Transform your challenges into prayer conversations. When a difficult situation arises, instead of immediately strategizing or panicking, take a moment to breathe. Ask not for the situation to change, but for the wisdom to navigate it. Your prayer becomes a state of openness, a willingness to see beyond the immediate circumstances. Each challenge becomes an opportunity for spiritual growth, a sacred dialogue with the divine. Develop a practice of gratitude that goes beyond simple thankfulness. Gratitude in prayer is a profound recognition of the sacred in the mundane. When you wake up, before you list your problems or concerns, spend a moment acknowledging the miracle of your existence, the breath in your lungs, the warmth of your bed, the potential of the day ahead. These are not granted, but gifted. Your acknowledgement becomes a form of prayer. Learn to pray with your entire being. Prayer is not confined to words spoken in solitude. It is a state of awareness that can infuse every action. When you cook, cook with prayer. When you work, work with prayer. When you interact with others, let your interactions be a form of spiritual communication. Your presence becomes a prayer. Your compassion becomes a prayer. Your intention becomes a prayer. Create a spiritual journal, not as a task to be completed, but as a sacred conversation with the divine. Write not from a place of perfection, but from a place of raw honesty. Document your struggles, your doubts, your moments of profound connection. Do not judge your entries. They are not meant to be literary masterpieces, but honest conversations with the divine. Embrace the practice of silent prayer during your most challenging moments. When words fail, when emotions overwhelm, when the path forward seems unclear, learn to sit in sacred silence. This is not passive resignation, but active spiritual receptivity. In these moments of silence, you are creating space for divine wisdom to enter, for guidance to emerge in ways your conscious mind cannot comprehend. Understand that prayer is a practice of continuous surrender. Each day presents opportunities to release your need for control, to trust in a wisdom greater than your limited perspective. Your morning prayer might be a simple intention. I am open. I am willing to be guided. I trust in a process larger than my understanding. This surrender is not weakness, but the most profound strength. Your prayer practice is a living, breathing entity that will evolve with you. Some days it will feel effortless. Other days, it will feel like a struggle. Embrace both. Your spiritual journey is not about achieving perfection, but about maintaining an open heart, a willing spirit, and a continuous conversation with the divine that flows through every moment of your existence. The most profound teachings of prayer are not found in abstract theories, but in the lived experiences of those who have walked through the deepest valleys of human struggle and emerged transformed. Each story is a testament to the mysterious power of spiritual connection, a living proof that prayer is not a passive act, but a dynamic force of personal metamorphosis. Maria's journey began in the depths of despair. A single mother battling a terminal illness, she found herself at the edge of hopelessness. Her prayers had once been desperate pleas, demanding, angry, filled with the raw pain of potential abandonment. But something shifted in her darkest moment. Instead of demanding, she began to listen. Her prayer transformed from a scream of anguish to a whisper of acceptance. She discovered that surrender was not about giving up, but about opening herself to a wisdom beyond her understanding. In the months that followed, Maria's physical condition defied medical expectations. But more importantly, her inner landscape underwent a profound transformation. Her illness became a portal of spiritual awakening. She found peace not in the potential of healing, but in the depth of her connection. Her doctors were puzzled by her newfound strength, her ability to face each day with a radiance that seemed to emanate from within. Thomas's story speaks to the power of prayer in the most unexpected places. A corporate executive trapped in a cycle of burnout and spiritual emptiness, he had reduced life to a series of transactions. His prayers, when he bothered to pray, were perfunctory, quick requests for success, for relief, for something to change. The turning point came during a moment of complete professional and personal breakdown. Sitting in his office, surrounded by the remnants of what he thought was success, Thomas experienced a profound spiritual awakening. His prayer became a radical act of letting go. He began to see his work, his relationships, his entire existence as a sacred journey rather than a series of achievements to be conquered. The transformation was not immediate, but gradual, a slow unfolding of spiritual awareness that reshaped every aspect of his life. Elena's testimony reveals the depth of prayer as a healing force. Years of generational trauma had created a fortress around her heart. Growing up in a family marked by violence and silence, she carried wounds that seemed impossible to heal. Traditional therapy provided some relief, but something deeper remained unresolved. Her journey of prayer began not with grand gestures, but with simple, honest conversations with the divine. She learned to pray not by asking for the pain to disappear, but by asking for the strength to understand, to heal, to transform. Her prayers became a process of internal archaeology, carefully excavating the layers of hurt, examining them with compassion, and gradually releasing them. The healing was not about erasing the past, but about finding meaning, about transforming her wounds into sources of wisdom and compassion. Each of these stories illustrates a fundamental truth about prayer. It is not a magic wand that eliminates life's challenges, but a profound process of internal transformation. Prayer works not by changing external circumstances, but by changing the person who prays. It is an alchemical process that turns the lead of human suffering into the gold of spiritual understanding. These testimonies are not exceptional stories of supernatural intervention, but profound examples of human spiritual potential. They remind us that prayer is not about achieving perfection, but about maintaining an open heart. Each prayer is a step on a journey of continuous awakening, a moment of connection that has the power to reshape entire lives. Your own story of prayer is waiting to be written. It may not look like these testimonies. It may be quieter, more subtle, unique to your own spiritual landscape, but it holds the same potential for transformation. Your pain, your struggles, your moments of doubt, these are not barriers to spiritual growth, but the very materials from which your most profound prayers will be crafted. The path of transformative prayer is not a distant, unreachable mountain, but a journey that begins with a single, intentional step. Transformation occurs not through grand gestures, but through the subtle, consistent practices that reshape our spiritual landscape from within. Imagine your spiritual growth as a garden. It requires patience, nurturing, and a deep understanding of the sacred ecology of your inner world. Begin by creating a sacred container for your prayer practice. This is not about constructing elaborate rituals or following rigid spiritual disciplines, but about establishing a gentle, consistent connection with the divine. Find a space in your home that feels peaceful. It could be a corner of a room, a small table by a window, or even a cherished chair that holds memories of comfort. This space becomes your spiritual sanctuary, a physical representation of your inner willingness to connect. Develop a morning practice of spiritual attunement. As you wake, before the world demands your attention, create a moment of profound stillness. This is not about perfection, but about presence. Place your hand on your heart. Take 3 deep breaths. Feel the rise and fall of your chest, the subtle rhythm of life moving through you. Your first prayer of the day is simply this: an acknowledgement of your own existence, a recognition of the miracle of consciousness. Learn the art of listening prayer. Most of us approach prayer as a monologue, a stream of requests, complaints, and desperate pleas. True transformation begins when prayer becomes a dialogue, when we cultivate the capacity to listen as deeply as we speak. Set aside time each day to sit in silence. Do not try to fill the silence with words or thoughts. Simply be present. Imagine yourself as a vessel open and receptive to divine guidance. Create a spiritual journal that becomes a map of your inner landscape. This is not a diary of perfection, but a raw, honest exploration of your spiritual journey. Write without judgment. Document your struggles, your moments of doubt, your unexpected experiences of grace. Your writings become a conversation with the divine, a way of processing your spiritual experiences, of making sense of the mysterious journey of transformation. Develop a practice of gratitude that goes beyond simple thankfulness. True gratitude is a radical act of spiritual awareness. Each evening, reflect on the day, not to catalogue your achievements or failures, but to recognize the subtle miracles that move through your life. The kind word from a stranger, the unexpected moment of beauty, the challenge that revealed your inner strength. Gratitude transforms your perception, turning the ordinary into the sacred. Embrace the practice of surrender in your daily interactions. This means releasing your need to control every outcome, to manage every situation. When conflict arises, when challenges emerge, pause, take a breath. Ask not for the situation to change, but for the wisdom to navigate it with grace. Your surrender is not weakness, but a profound form of spiritual strength. Explore the power of embodied prayer. Prayer is not confined to words spoken in solitude. It is a state of awareness that can infuse every action. When you cook, cook with prayer. When you walk, walk with prayer. When you work, work with prayer. Your entire existence becomes a living prayer, a continuous conversation with the divine that transcends language. Create a personal prayer rhythm that honors your unique spiritual landscape. Some days your prayer will be a long contemplative practice. Other days it might be a single breath, a momentary connection. Some moments will feel profound, others will feel dry and distant. Embrace all of it. Your spiritual journey is not about achieving a perfect state, but about maintaining an open heart, a willing spirit. Understand that transformation is not a destination, but a continuous journey. Your prayer practice will evolve as you evolve. What serves you today may not serve you tomorrow. Be willing to let go, to explore, to remain curious. Your spiritual path is a living, breathing entity, as dynamic and mysterious as life itself. The landscape of spiritual transformation is cultivated through intentional practices that awaken our inner wisdom. These are not complex rituals reserved for spiritual masters, but simple, profound exercises that can reshape your relationship with prayer, with yourself, and with the divine. Begin with the practice of breath prayer, a transformative technique that bridges the physical and spiritual realms. Choose a simple, powerful phrase that resonates with your deepest spiritual longing. It could be as simple as, "Peace flows through me," or "I am loved beyond measure." As you inhale, silently speak the first part of the phrase. As you exhale, complete it. This practice becomes a living meditation, a continuous prayer that moves with the rhythm of your breath. Explore the power of embodied reflection through a daily gratitude and surrender ritual. Create a sacred space in your home. It need not be elaborate. A simple candle, a meaningful object, a comfortable chair. Each evening, sit in this space. Close your eyes. Place your hand on your heart. Breathe deeply. Reflect on 3 moments of grace that move through your day. Not grand miracles, but subtle whispers of divine presence. Then, release 3 burdens you've been carrying. Imagine each burden as a leaf falling from a tree, gently drifting away, returning to the earth. Develop a transformative journaling practice that goes beyond simple record keeping. Each morning, write a letter to the divine, not a list of demands, but an honest conversation. Share your fears, your hopes, your struggles. Do not edit, do not judge. Let your writing be a raw, unfiltered expression of your inner landscape. After writing, sit in silence. Listen. The response may not come as words, but as a subtle shift in perception, a gentle nudge of intuition. Create a personal prayer walking meditation. Choose a path. It could be a quiet street, a park, a natural setting. As you walk, let each step become a prayer. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Breathe deeply. With each step, release something that no longer serves you. With each breath, invite in a quality you wish to cultivate. Peace, courage, compassion. Your walk becomes a moving prayer, a physical manifestation of spiritual transformation. Explore the practice of sacred listening through nature connection. Find a tree, a garden, a quiet, natural space. Sit quietly, close your eyes, listen beyond the physical sounds to the subtle energies, the quiet whispers of the natural world. Imagine yourself as part of a vast, interconnected web of life. Your prayer becomes a conversation with the entire universe, not through words, but through profound presence. Develop a forgiveness meditation that transforms pain into spiritual growth. Choose a relationship or situation that carries emotional weight. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, visualize the person or situation. Begin with yourself. Offer forgiveness to your own wounded parts. Then, gradually extend that forgiveness outward. This is not about condoning harmful actions, but about releasing the emotional burden that keeps you trapped. Create a dream prayer practice. Before sleeping, set an intention of spiritual openness. Keep a journal by your bed. Upon waking, before the day's noise intrudes, write down any dreams, any subtle impressions. These become messages from your deeper self, potentially guidance from the divine. Do not analyze immediately, simply record. Over time, patterns may emerge, offering profound insights. Embrace the practice of spontaneous prayer, moving beyond structured approaches to a more fluid spiritual conversation. Let your prayers emerge naturally throughout the day. A moment of beauty might inspire gratitude. A challenge might invoke a prayer for wisdom. A loved one's struggle might spark a prayer of compassion. Your entire existence becomes a continuous, living prayer. Understand that these practices are not rigid rules, but gentle invitations to deeper spiritual awareness. Some will resonate immediately, others may feel uncomfortable or challenging. Be patient with yourself. Your spiritual journey is unique, a path of continuous unfolding. What matters is not perfection, but persistent, loving attention to your inner landscape. The journey of spiritual transformation is not a solitary path walked in isolation, but a profound pilgrimage supported by wisdom, community, and continued learning. Just as a traveler requires maps, companions, and resources, your spiritual journey demands nurturing beyond individual practice, a holistic approach that feeds your soul's deepest longing for connection and understanding. Consider creating a spiritual support ecosystem that extends beyond your personal practice. Seek out communities that resonate with your spiritual journey, not as a means of validation, but as a source of shared wisdom and collective growth. This might mean joining a contemplative prayer group, participating in spiritual retreats, or connecting with online communities that explore deep, transformative spiritual practices. The key is finding spaces that honor your unique spiritual landscape while offering gentle guidance and support. Explore the rich world of spiritual literature that can illuminate your path. Seek out books that speak not just to the intellect, but to the heart. Look for works that explore prayer and spiritual transformation from diverse perspectives. Mystical Christian texts, contemplative writings, works that bridge spirituality and psychology. Some recommended explorations include the writings of Thomas Merton, whose contemplative insights offer profound depth, or the works of Henry Nouwen, which blend spiritual wisdom with human vulnerability. Develop a practice of spiritual mentorship and guidance. This does not mean finding someone to dictate your spiritual path, but rather discovering a compassionate guide who can offer perspective, ask challenging questions, and help you navigate the complex terrain of spiritual growth. This might be a spiritual director, a wise counselor, or a mentor who has walked a similar path of transformation. Their role is not to provide answers, but to help you listen more deeply to your own inner wisdom. Investigate the world of spiritual retreats and contemplative practices. Consider experiences that offer structured opportunities for deep spiritual reflection. Silent retreats, meditation workshops, spiritual renewal programs. These are not escapes from life, but intentional spaces of deep listening and transformation. Look for programs that honor your individual spiritual journey while offering tools for deeper connection and understanding. Explore the intersection of spiritual practice and holistic wellness. Consider practices that integrate body, mind, and spirit, yoga, contemplative movement, mindful breathing techniques. These are not merely physical practices, but profound spiritual technologies that can help you develop a more integrated approach to prayer and spiritual transformation. Seek out teachers and programs that understand spirituality as a holistic journey of embodied awareness. Create a personal spiritual resource library that grows with your journey. This is not about collecting books as objects, but about curating a collection of wisdom that speaks to your evolving spiritual landscape. Include books, audio recordings, meditation guides, inspirational documentaries. Be open to sources that challenge your existing understanding, that invite you to expand your spiritual perspective. Consider the power of artistic expression as a form of spiritual practice. Explore journaling, painting, music, dance as ways of expressing and deepening your spiritual journey. These are not about creating perfect art, but about finding alternative languages of spiritual communication. Your creativity becomes a form of prayer, a way of listening and expressing that transcends words. Investigate online and digital resources that can support your spiritual growth. Look for podcasts, online courses, webinars that offer deep, nuanced explorations of spiritual practice. But approach these with discernment. Seek out resources that invite personal reflection rather than offering simplistic solutions. The goal is not consumption, but genuine spiritual engagement. Remember that your spiritual journey is a continuous unfolding, a living, breathing process of discovery. The resources you need will change as you change. What serves you today may not serve you tomorrow. Stay curious, remain open, be willing to let go of what no longer resonates. Your spiritual path is a sacred conversation that extends far beyond any single practice or resource. The most profound spiritual teachings emerge not from abstract theories, but from lived experiences that crack open our understanding of divine connection. My own journey of prayer was born from a landscape of profound brokenness, a time when the world seemed to collapse around me, leaving nothing but a desperate whisper of hope. Years ago, I found myself in the depths of a personal crisis that threatened to consume everything. A devastating diagnosis, a marriage falling apart, a career unraveling. The perfect storm of human suffering that strips away every pretense, every carefully constructed narrative of control. In that moment, my prayers were not beautiful or eloquent. They were raw, wounded sounds that emerged from the deepest parts of my being, more like animal sounds of pain than carefully crafted spiritual invocations. I remember the exact moment everything changed. It was not a dramatic, supernatural intervention, but a subtle shift of perception so profound it rewrote the entire landscape of my understanding. Sitting on the floor of my small apartment, surrounded by the wreckage of my former life, I stopped fighting. I stopped demanding. I simply surrendered. My prayer became a radical act of letting go, not a passive resignation, but an active choice to release my grip on outcomes, on control, on the narrative I had constructed about my life. I began to see my suffering not as a punishment, but as a sacred invitation, a doorway to a deeper understanding of spiritual transformation. The healing did not happen instantly. It was a gradual unfolding, a slow resurrection of spirit that moved through me like a gentle tide. I learned that prayer is not about getting what you want, but about becoming who you are meant to be. Each moment of pain became a teacher. Each challenge became a portal of understanding. My physical healing came gradually. The restoration of my marriage was not immediate. My career took unexpected turns, But something far more profound happened, a complete reconstruction of my inner landscape. I discovered a connection to the divine that transcended circumstances, a peace that existed beyond understanding. What I learned is that true prayer is not about changing external realities, but about transforming our internal perception. It is a quantum leap of spiritual awareness that rewrites the very fabric of our existence. My most powerful prayers were not elaborate spiritual performances, but simple moments of raw honesty. I am here. I am willing. I surrender. This journey taught me that our wounds are not something to be ashamed of, but sacred texts waiting to be read. Each scar tells a story of survival, of transformation, of divine grace moving through the most broken parts of our human experience. Our struggles are not obstacles to spiritual growth, but the very materials from which our most profound spiritual awakening is crafted. I share this not as a testament to my own strength, but as a witness to the mysterious power of spiritual surrender. Your own journey will look different. Your pain will have its own unique texture. But the fundamental truth remains: you are more loved than you can imagine. Your struggles are not punishment, but invitation. Your prayers are heard, even in the moments of deepest silence. Remember that your spiritual journey is not about achieving perfection, but about maintaining an open heart. Some days, prayer will feel like a raging river. Other days, it will be a quiet stream. Embrace all of it. Your willingness to show up, to be present, to surrender. This is the most powerful prayer of all. We stand now at a profound moment of spiritual choice. This is not the end of a message, but the beginning of a transformative journey that will reshape the very fabric of your existence. The power of prayer is not a distant concept to be studied, but a living, breathing reality waiting to be experienced in the depths of your own being. Your spiritual awakening begins with a single, courageous step. Right now, in this moment, you have the opportunity to break free from the patterns that have held you captive. The divine is calling you not to perfection, but to authenticity. Not to religious performance, but to a genuine, raw, transformative connection that will rewrite the story of your life. I invite you to become an active participant in your own spiritual transformation. Your comment is not just words on a screen. It is a sacred declaration of your spiritual intention. Share your most vulnerable moment. Speak the prayer that has been locked in the deepest chamber of your heart. Write the struggle you've been afraid to voice. Your vulnerability is your greatest strength, your most powerful prayer. To those watching, feeling the stirring of something profound within your spirit, this is your moment of breakthrough. Press the like button as an act of spiritual commitment. Each like is more than a digital interaction. It is a declaration of your willingness to transform. It is a prayer of intention, a signal to the universe that you are ready for something more. Subscribe to this channel, but understand that subscription is not about receiving content. It is about joining a community of spiritual seekers. Each subscription is a commitment to your own growth, a promise to continue this journey of spiritual exploration. You are not alone. There is a community of souls walking this path, supporting, healing, transforming. Share this message with those who are struggling. Your share is a prayer in motion. It is an act of spiritual compassion that extends beyond your individual experience. Imagine the lives that might be touched, the spirits that might be awakened, by your simple act of sharing. Your vulnerability becomes a bridge of healing for others. Create a personal altar of transformation. It need not be elaborate. A candle, a meaningful object, a written intention. Let this be a physical reminder of your spiritual commitment. Place it where you will see it daily, a constant invitation to deeper connection, to more authentic prayer. Commit to a daily practice of spiritual awareness. Start small. 5 minutes of intentional breathing, a moment of gratitude, a prayer spoken from the heart. These are not grand gestures, but powerful seeds of transformation that will grow beyond your imagination. This is not the end of our conversation, but the beginning of a sacred journey. Your spiritual awakening is not dependent on perfection, but on your willingness to show up, to be vulnerable, to surrender. Every prayer, every moment of intention, is a step toward a more profound understanding of yourself and the divine. I challenge you, truly challenge you, to live this message, not as a passive observer, but as an active participant in your own spiritual transformation. Your life is waiting, your spirit is calling, the divine is present, right here, right now, in this very moment of possibility. As we arrive at the culmination of our spiritual journey together, pause and breathe. Feel the subtle shift that has occurred within you. A transformation that began the moment you opened your heart to this message. Prayer is not a destination, but a continuous journey of becoming, a living, breathing conversation that reshapes the very essence of your existence. Remember the profound truth we have explored. Your spiritual journey is uniquely yours. There is no single path, no universal formula that fits every soul. What matters is not the perfection of your practice, but the authenticity of your intention. Your prayers are heard not in their eloquence, but in their raw, unfiltered truth. Every moment of vulnerability, every whispered hope, every silent surrender is a prayer that moves through the universe. The principles we have shared are not rigid rules, but gentle invitations to deeper spiritual awareness. They are seeds planted in the fertile ground of your soul, waiting to sprout, to grow, to transform. Some will take root immediately. Others may lie dormant, waiting for the right moment of spiritual readiness. Trust the process. Trust your journey. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. Your spiritual transformation is not about becoming something other than who you are, but about becoming more fully yourself. It is a process of stripping away the layers of fear, doubt, and limitation that have obscured your true essence. Each prayer, each moment of surrender, each act of spiritual courage brings you closer to the most authentic version of yourself. The challenges you face are not obstacles, but opportunities for growth. Your struggles are not punishments, but sacred texts waiting to be read. Every moment of darkness carries within it the seed of profound light. Your pain is not something to be feared or avoided, but a powerful teacher that can guide you toward deeper understanding, deeper compassion, deeper connection. Understand that spiritual growth is not a linear path. There will be moments of profound clarity, followed by periods of doubt, days when prayer flows like a mighty river, and days when it feels like a mere whisper. Embrace all of it. Your spiritual journey is not about maintaining a perfect state, but about maintaining an open heart, a willing spirit, a continuous conversation with the divine. As you move forward, carry with you the knowledge that you are deeply loved, not for your achievements, not for your perfection, but simply for being who you are. Your worth is not determined by the external circumstances of your life, but by the infinite, unconditional love that flows through you and around you. Let this be both an ending and a beginning. An ending to the old patterns of spiritual disconnection and a beginning of a more authentic, more profound spiritual journey. Your prayers have power, your spirit has wisdom, your journey has meaning. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. Feel the infinite possibility that resides within you. You are not alone, you are not lost. You are on a sacred journey of transformation, guided by a love that transcends understanding.